This is an It Came From Gen X video.
Hello, everybody. It is good to be back. We are the guys from It Came From Gen X, and this is our first new show in about a couple of months. Took a little bit of the summer off for a break. Lots going on in our lives, and we are just glad to be back here today with a brand new show. All kind of crazy things to talk about. We missed a lot of great topics that aren't as relevant as now, or we're kind of limited by time, but still we got a lot of great stuff to talk about. So let's get going. Say hello to the fellas. Fishbone, how you been, man?
Doing well, brother. Nice, relaxing break over the summer. Great quality time with family, friends. Sally and I got away. Took up disc golf as a new hobby. Been doing a lot of that lately too. Work's been okay. So yeah, just a nice, relaxing break, guys. But glad to be back here with you.
Yeah, definitely glad to be together again. I understand the family thing. I got to do a lot of that this summer as well, and you know what? I'm still going. I was going to say, oh, well, summer's over, but my sister and I like, you know what? We're going to keep partying till like it's 1999. So though it doesn't end because the summer's gone. Skinbone, how you doing, brother?
Doing good. Yeah, like I said, we've been gone for, I think August 14th was my last recording. So
Man,
it's been almost 2 months, but
Yes.
lots gone on. Glad to be here though, fellas. Always great being with you guys.
You got the camper since we did you have the camper then?
Oh, we've had it since January. We just started camping over the summertime. We are scheduled to go this weekend, but I think Mother Nature is going to be raining on us, and I'm not sure we're going to want to go, but we'll see how that goes.
Okay. Well, you guys know it's been a crazy 2 months for me, being shot at again.
Right.
If I finally finding out who did that, had a nice bullet hole in my car. Also, we got I got a new vehicle. It's not new, but it's new to me, which I hated it when I first got it. Now I'm absolutely in love with it, and I am having so much fun fixing it up. I have a Jeep Wrangler, and I didn't know Jeeps were so much freaking fun. I look forward to getting up just to drive. So that's been going on pretty cool. So, man, let's get this show going. We don't want to waste any more time. Fish, tell them where they can find the show.
all right. I want to mention too. We've been away. My daughter graduated college since we've been away too. So congratulations to beautiful Peyton. Yeah, doing well. She got her first full-time job in graphic design. So she's doing very well. Yeah. So
I remember her. I remember you posted a picture of her going to high school. She had the Overkill shirt on. I mean, what happened? Time just
flies right on by, man. Flies right on by.
From me to you, Peyton, congratulations. That is absolutely awesome. You sound like you are one sharp on the ball, lady. Good for you.
Thank you so much. All right. Well, if I can remember where we can be found, line. Our producer's slacking over here. Anyway, so you might be listening to us finally wherever you listen to podcasts. We can be found on all major podcast platforms: Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Overcast, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music. Wherever you listen to podcasts, we can be found. Just simply pull up the It Came From Gen X podcast. Give us a free follow or subscribe. And as we publish new episodes once every 3 to 6 months or so, we'll pop into your podcast feed free of charge. You might be watching us on our YouTube channel at It Came From Gen X or on the Boss Code Media TV network. They can be found on your smart television or portable device. So we pull up the Boss Code Media Network app, download, subscribe, and run there with other creative content. All show information can be found at two main places. Our Linktree page, just simply Google Linktree. It Came From Gen X. There's links to all social media and other things. No, you go to one place, go to our website, itcamefromgenx.wordpress.com. All information's there. ways to sponsor the show, links to our merch store, links to new episodes, videos, bios, etc. Go there, and if you do anything at all, tell a friend, give us free follow, free subscribe on YouTube, podcast, give us a rating and review, all that good stuff. That's how we grow a little bit. Yep. And we appreciate your support. And you know what? If you came back and listened to any of our repeat shows or anything like that, you were kind of listening for a new episode, thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your patience. We had a lot going on there. It was definitely a well-needed break for all of us. You know, we've been doing this, I mean, hell, as you guys know, for years now with the football show and this, so we all needed some time off for various reasons. So thanks for hanging with us, and we'll try to be more consistent here, get into the fall season and winter season and all that, bring you some more new episodes as we go forward here. So
absolutely.
Thanks for your support.
Yeah, thanks for saying that. Also, you can find us on www.leakageisnothingtobeashamedof.com. So
there you go.
Catch us all there. All right.
Mm-hmm.
We have not heard from the man in quite a while. Maybe he's going to go on a rant. We don't know. Mike Skinner, the floor is yours. Speaking of Mike Skinner, big shout out to our podcast producer, Mike Skinner Jr. He's been a little bit depressed lately because he hasn't had our voices in his head. He actually told me that, I guess after doing that for so long, he would feel a little lonely. So, hey, we're back, Junior. Good to be back in your head again. All right. Go ahead, Skimbo. Take it away.
Yeah, I probably sent him a message, and he's like, finally recording a podcast, huh? What's his response? No, first of all, I need a shout out to the Zackel family. Rob Zackel is a friend of mine for many years. His brother, Daniel, 58 years old, passed away a week ago. This past Friday, we had his funeral on Friday from pancreatic cancer.
Our condolences.
I don't have to tell you, this man 6 years ago had almost a fatal heart attack and came all the way back to working 40 plus hours a week from a massive heart attack. Never knew. He told me 4 months ago that he was going to find out what stage he was at. He was at stage 4, and sure enough, when you get pancreatic cancer, you're pretty much on your deathbed at that point. So, to Pam, his partner, to my good friend Rob Zackel, and the entire Zackel family, prayers to you from us here at the show. My great aunt also passed away, so I'm done with this. To be truthful, it's been a summer of losing loved ones, and quite frankly, I'm tired of it.
Know what you mean.
So, with that being said, I'm going to start off with some more depressing news, unfortunately.
If that didn't cheer you up, try this
if that didn't cheer you up, here we go.
Well, that besides we're back on the air, that's depressing for some in itself. But yeah.
Well, let me retract to my pain in the ass daughter, my youngest 15-year-old.
Hey,
Congratulations! She went to her first homecoming this past weekend.
Ah, very nice.
And
very nice.
She was absolutely beautiful. And she had a great time. So, shout out to her. Unless you lived under a rock over the last 4 or 5 days, you know that Israel and the Hamas militants, which occupy the Gaza.
Hamas is a food.
Hamas occupies the Gaza Strip.
Bread.
Yeah. We got to try to make a joke of this, because from what I'm seeing and what I, from experiences, this is going down a rabbit hole we don't want to go down. So, a little background: the Gaza Strip refers to a narrow strip of land. It's wedged between Israel and Egypt on the Mediterranean Sea, and it's roughly the size.
Years of fighting.
Yes, years and years of fighting. It goes back all the way to actually 1948, truthfully. The first victory for Israel was in 1967, but I'll get to that. And the area of the Gaza is basically the size of Washington, D.C. However, there's over 2 million people in that little area. Yeah. It's one of the most heavily populated areas on the planet. After the creation of Israel in 1948, Egypt controlled the Gaza for about 2 decades until Israel went to war and took over in 1967. It was called the 6-Day War against the Arab nation. And then for 38 years, they controlled everything about the Gaza Strip until 2005, under international and domestic pressure. They withdrew their Israeli settlers and let the Strip go back to the Palestinian authorities. The Hamas went all out bomb brigade on Israel. I think it was on Saturday. And then late into Sunday, the Israelis came back hard with them. Up to, last I heard, it was already 1,500 casualties and over 3,000 people wounded, just in a period of 48 hours. The U.S. is getting into it. They are sending warships into the Mediterranean Sea, which will then have China chime in. North Korea is going to chime. It's going down. Like I said, I don't want to repeat myself, but it's a rabbit hole that we do not want to go down. And I just hope calmer heads prevail through this, because from what I'm reading and what I'm seeing early on, this could be devastating. You guys have anything to add to what you've seen? Unless you've been under a rock, you've had to have seen and heard and witnessed a little bit of the video that's out there already.
Fish?
Well, it's needless to say, it's a very scary time. I mean, between that and the ongoing war in Ukraine, I mean, it's there's a lot of feel of a potential another world war brewing here. So, like you say, hopefully calmer heads prevail, and just I thoughts and prayers with everybody involved, all those poor people who just try to live a normal life and you get attacked, out of nowhere. You lose loved ones. It's just a really horrible thing, and it's just a very tense time that we're living in right now. So hopefully we don't see it blow up more, and we lose a lot more lives needlessly, really. So I don't know what else to say, really. Keith, what do you got?
I was going to talk a little bit about some of the details of what's going on. The fact that Israeli just ordered a full control over the Gaza and all this other stuff. But, forget all that for right now. You can watch the news and get all that. If you never believed in evil in your life, you should believe in it right now. As Fish was mentioning, you got Ukraine, you got all this other stuff going on. Another world war, nobody can win that.
Right.
Nobody can win that. Why would you play with fate? Who are these evil men that just are constantly being warmongers? Are never happy. Just hate somebody else for being who they are, or fighting over stupid stuff. No one has the decency to say, you know what, it's not worth it, and put the entire world at jeopardy right now. It just really bothers me. We're praying very hard. A lot of this Israeli stuff is biblical. You don't believe it? Look in the book of Revelation. And when it talks about the bear and all this other stuff, the bear represents Russia. I forget what China is. It might be the sickle. I don't want to quote something I'm not right, but anyway, people need to pray. People need to pray, because right now people are playing with matches and a room full of gasoline, and it just takes one wrong thing to ignite, and everybody goes full nuts, and nobody can win this. Nobody can win this. And I don't care if you're the mighty United States or Russia with this big nuclear arsenal. It's like the one person said, I'm not scared of the person that has a bunch of nukes. I'm scared of the person that just has one, because that's the person that wants to do something, do some damage. So if anybody's just got one, it's not good. So all I can say is pray.
Right. Right. And and on to the next subject matter. Yeah, I've been paying attention with this stuff with Israel, and it makes my spine want to crawl up inside me to think about what could happen if this if something doesn't turn around. So, anyways, another thing that's been in the news over the last month to 6 weeks, especially with school out, is the new variant BA 2.86. Yes, people, ladies and gentlemen, COVID has never left the building.
No.
Just like the flu, it'll be back year after year after year. Now, I got a story because it hit my house last week. Trinity came down with COVID over the weekend before last. Now, mind you, we went through the COVID of 21 when Miss Marcy and my mother-in-law were in the hospital, and I managed to stay out of the hospital, and then we had it again a year later. And Trinity, living in the same house, managed to not get sick during both of those. Don't know how, but we did everything we could to protect her from that. Well, she was the only one that got sick in this house. So somehow the tides reversed. She got sick. We tested her on COVID on Monday morning, and she was positive. So Miss Marcy calls the school on Tuesday and asks what the protocol is. Called at 8:15, no answer. Called at 12:15, nobody called her back. Called at 3 o'clock, still nobody called her back. And then finally at 3:30, a secretary she got a hold of from a different part of the building says, "Oh yeah, we've given your messages to so-and-so, but they haven't called you back?" "No, it's just about my daughter and COVID, and I need to know what the protocol is." So they had the nurse call back the next morning. And you know what the nurse had the nerve to say?
Scared to ask.
Call the health department. They'll tell you what to do.
The
school nurse had the nerve
you're on top of it.
So Marcy calls the health department.
Oh boy.
And to explain to the lady on the phone what she was told by the school nurse. And I guess the lady broke out in hysteric laughing. And says, "You're kidding me, right?" She's like, "Ma'am, I wish I was kidding you, but no, that was the exact answer from the school nurse at Cuyahoga Falls."
How come they not have a protocol in place?
Yeah, that's strange.
Good question. Why was there no protocol through this entire? The protocol didn't go away when COVID wasn't the mainstay in the news back in 2020, 2021, and even early 22. Just because it's not on the front page anymore, people think it's gone away. I'm guessing the schools think it's gone away too. So yeah, needless to say, we were talking prior to recording about the mental state of me and Miss Marcy. You can kind of get an idea of a couple of reasons as to why we just need that break. But she had a headache. Yeah, go ahead, Fish.
I guess it's just normal. Just you quarantine, you self-quarantine for like 5 days or so, and make sure.
That's what the Summit County Health Department said. 5 days from first symptoms, which was Saturday night. She had a headache. thought it was a migraine, took her migraine medicine. It didn't go away, and then she continually got worse. So when we had her take a test on, I think it was Sunday night or Monday morning, she ended up having a tested positive for COVID. So that's why her medicine didn't work. But she got through it pretty well. She was feeling better by Thursday, went to school on Friday, and then went to homecoming on Saturday. So, only thing I can say to people out there is keep washing your hands. Make sure you're staying clean. Don't get in anybody's face. Try to keep your distance if you can out in public. I know it's hard, and but COVID season is upon us, and I guess that's all I wanted to bring up today.
Yep. Well, the whole hands thing has been a problem with me for a while. As you guys know, my sister has home health aides that come here, and I've had some serious problems with some of them, and I'm actually about to put some signs up and just be like, listen, when you walk in this door, hit the sanitizer. You take out the garbage, you hit the sanitizer. If you sneeze, please sneeze in your arm. If you sneeze in your hand, please immediately wash your hands or hit the sanitizer. I got one, she just sneezes in her hand and sits back. I'm like, are you kidding me? I put the sanitizer in there. I go like this, right in her face. You know, I don't give a crap. You're in my house. Me and my sister are both on the highest acceptable list. You don't have more respect than that.
Well, that's something you did. That's something you should have done prior to COVID even existing.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. So we can't get lazy anymore, man. We got to be on top of practicing these habits that we should have developed, should have already had, like you said, should have definitely gotten sharper with it because of COVID. People right now are just loosey-goosey. They don't care. You don't have to be paranoid, but at least be cautious and have a healthy protocol in your life, a healthy, that you do, a healthy practice, clean
the biggest
hands.
Thing is have a sense of awareness.
Yeah.
I went last week. I got my flu and my COVID shot. So they have a new vaccine out there for this new variant is. I don't know. I got them both at the same time, and I was completely fine.
Yeah. A week ago, 2 weeks ago, Pam would not answer the phone when I was out. And I'm like, huh. So I come home and I go in there, she's still sleeping. I'm like, oh, she must be tired. Excuse me, I left. I don't know if I had to go to rehearsal, work, or whatever. I come back late at night. She's still knocked out. And I said, Pam, she couldn't hardly speak. I knew she was sick. I'm pretty sure it was COVID. Had the hardest time getting her upstairs to the bed, but we got her up there. Well, she was there for a week. And I had to nurse her back to health. I wasn't taking they swallow this. I made my juice formula, echinacea, went and bought elderberry, just everything we could, and got her back. But I'm pretty sure she had a little touch of it in the house. And then I felt a little hint of it a week later. So, yeah, it's out there, man. We have to be very careful. Oh, all right. That it, Skinner?
That is it. I'll save my rants for another time.
Okay, all right, everybody. All right, that was our world news. On to some sports and music, a little lighter subjects, if you will.
Lighter than World War III and COVID, Keith?
What a way to come back to the show, right?
Wow, yeah. How do you top that? Okay.
Pickett looked rather adequate.
Well, geez, man. Okay. So back in August, in sports, we were talking. I know I was talking about the show Hard Knocks, that featured the New York Jets, and of course, the big buzz was Aaron Rodgers coming to the Jets.
Boom.
The Jets were highly favored to make some noise in the AFC.
They made some noise, all right.
Yeah, we did done a show that Monday, that first week of September. Of course, the big noise would have been Aaron Rodgers going down 4 plays into the season. I couldn't imagine how heartbreaking that was to the team, the coaches, staff, and the players, and the fans. That just had to be a kick in the gut. And then to see yourself stuck back with Zach Wilson, who's just not ready yet. But they're putting along. They're coming along. So that would have been some news to talk about. We've seen quite a few good players go down. Your Cowboys have taken 2 pretty big hits.
Yeah.
They lost the Diggs for the
Van Der Esch.
Van Der Esch for several weeks. So that's all on the defense, a highly rated defense. That they don't need to take them big hits. It's like, man, sometimes it just rains and pours for certain teams.
Well, they lost their quarterback last night too. He's out in space somewhere.
Yeah, ain't that the truth? Of course, big news a couple of weeks ago was the appearance, and I'm going to mention it because, man.
Oh, you're going there.
Yes, I got to go there. But Taylor Swift showed up at a Kansas City Chiefs game, and the media lost their freaking mind. I mean, everything had to be Taylor Swift. Of course, the coverage of the game was ridiculous. Every time Kelsey did something, it was a cutaway to Taylor Swift. It reminds me of the old days back when Bubby Brister played for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and every time he did something, there was a cutaway to his mom in the stands, or Kurt Warner and his wife. But it caused a lot of media spark. Mostly just disgusted with it, sick of it, and then there was those who just lost it because somebody had the nerve to say they were sick of it. Freaking our good friend Coach Coop, my dear Cassie, man, she lit into me like flies on a rump roast about it. But that is 2 weeks old news now. We didn't see the Taylor Swift last week, so we are grateful for that. So here we are in week 6 going into in the NFL. We have 2 undefeated teams, the Philadelphia Eagles and the San Francisco 49ers. The Eagles look like a really, really, really good, strong football team. The 49ers look like absolute world beaters. The Dolphins, man, when they're on, they are on. I mean, they only have 1 loss, but they are definitely the fastest team out there. It's like just a bunch of cheetahs running around for them. So if they can stay consistent, they're going to be a team to recognize too. But guys, one thing I want to talk about in the NFL, I saw videos surfacing last year, and now they just seem to be everywhere with very compelling evidence that the NFL is scripted, that it is rigged. And I'm going to talk about some of the videos I saw, but first I want to ask you, do you think there's any legitimacy to that claim whatsoever, Fish?
No.
Not at all.
I mean, no. I think that there's definitely calls that go. I don't know. I don't think it's scripted. That's the short answer. I mean, I did see something about like the hold call. Like the hold penalty is a 10-yard penalty. It could be called on any play, and somebody's theory was that they could call that penalty whenever they want to change the momentum at any time. And there is a feel for that, most certainly, right?
Yeah,
so
it's like some of the probable cause requirements for a police officer in the street. There's so many laws that they have.
Yeah.
To give an officer probable cause at any given moment to pull you over, seatbelt, your lights not being on after 1 a.m. at night, things like that. So that's what that clause is like.
If it was scripted, listen. If it was scripted, really, if the NFL was scripted, they're going to want to make money, right? So that would be certainly a key factor why the NFL would write a script to get viewers and everything else. Are you going to tell me if the NFL was scripted that in 20 years plus that they would not have put the freaking Dallas Cowboys in at least an NFC fucking championship game in 20 some years? Yes, they would have. They would have put the Cleveland Browns. Listen, they would have put the Cleveland Browns in a Super Bowl because of the fan base and so forth. It's not happening. It's not scripted.
I saw an amazing, compelling video yesterday that talked about the last 20 years. And it talked about when 9/11 happened and America needed a hero. And who was that hero off the bench? The new Tom Brady. And he played for who? The New England Patriots. What was passed? The Patriot Act. Okay? And law. And then it went on to talk about what happened when the Hurricane Katrina happened and the flood down in Louisiana. Who went to the Super Bowl then? The New Orleans Saints. So it was a really compelling video, man. It goes back the last 20 years and makes these amazing arguments. I got to find it and send it to you guys to watch. But you'll be like, wow, they make you think for a minute. So it is interesting stuff. Skinner, what do you think, man?
I'm with Fisher. I don't think there's snowball's chance in hell that they could script what's happened over the last 20 years. You know,
I don't know how you can script athletes like that.
No.
Yeah, I'm
too big.
You know, as much as I hate to say it, Fisher's right about the Dallas Cowboys would be in an NFC Championship game in the last 20 years. And the Browns, for God's sakes, would be in a Super Bowl, if not won one by now, because of the fan base. Not because they deserve to be there, but because of the fan base.
See, you guys are assuming the reasons why it will be scripted. They might not; those that are in power might not care about those reasons. They might not give a crap about Dallas being the most popular team in the world. They might not give a crap about the Browns having such a faithful fan base.
You know, you could say the same thing in college football, and it happened against Maryland with Ohio State this past weekend. The egregious calls that were called against Ohio State, trying to halt, especially in the second half, the holding calls and everything else that, like you said, they can call a holding penalty on every single play of every single game.
Now, guys, there are NFL players on video. Look it up. NFL former players, popular players, saying that the NFL is scripted. Now, I don't know how you could possibly do that, but I believe with all my heart that there's something up, at least with the referees, with all this gambling going on. I believe with all my heart. With all this money exchanging hands, I saw some evidence, especially in college football. It was ridiculous how a team that was up by like 14 points and running on the field to get a field goal off with 2 seconds left in the entire game to cover a spread.
They covered the spread. Yeah, there was a lot of talk about that.
Yeah, things like that. I think there's something going on in college football, NFL, that has a lot to do with gambling. It has a lot to do with the referees. And
but that narrative isn't about being scripted.
I know. I said
that narrative is something totally different, and I hope to God that's not happening because
you know it is.
Then we're talking.
You know it is. How could you not? How could you not know it is? First of all, we have a referee in the NBA that went to prison, got caught doing it.
Right.
So
I know.
So it is happening, and I just think right now with a lot of the technology that a lot of things are being brought forth to the light. There's another video from the Commanders Bears game last week. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but a guy had a phone standing right behind the coach of the Bears.
I did see that.
Yeah, and he was filming the call sheet. He was right behind the coach, and he had a Washington sticker on the thing on his phone. You know, so he was like for a Washington person, but he's aiming his camera at the play sheet. So I think there's something going on that there's something in the milk that ain't right. Scripted as I don't know, man. Guys sacrificing their bodies for years and all. How do you do something like that? So, just interesting talk. That's certainly good campfire talk, and we'll keep our eyes on that, man, because everything done in the dark eventually comes to the light. All right.
Well, that's what happened last night. It was all scripted. Someone said we got to have San Francisco win by 32 points to cover some crazy spread. Yep.
That's what happened.
This is the year. This is the year. The script is going to come into fruition. And Dallas is going to come back now in the NFC Championship game and defeat the San Francisco 49ers. It's going to be like a Dak to Tony Pollard is going to be like the fucking Dwight Clark catch.
Yeah, right.
Uh-huh.
when you see some of the crazy games that happen, you got to wonder. I mean, my Steelers get mollywopped by the 49ers in game one. We come back and win a couple. We can't even beat a rookie quarterback in our beloved C.J. Stroud. We put up 6 points in that whole game, but then yesterday we beat the Ravens to take first place in the AFC North. I can't figure it out, man. So it's going to be a long season, man. It's going to be a long season. All right. That's pretty much it in sports. We got Simone Biles tearing it up overseas right now. Baseball is winding down with some of the usual suspects. And
baseball's interesting. I'm not a huge baseball fan like Skinner is, but these playoff games are very compelling. There's a lot of 100-win teams that are on the verge of getting knocked out of the playoffs. So it's a very interesting playoff series so far.
This year,
yeah,
definitely. There was another big story in sports. I can't think of what's going on. But anyway, to come back to me, let's move on to some music, guys. Talk about music. Big music news that I was fortunate to be part of course, is the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is adding on a new wing. It should be done in 2026. And they had the foundation digging ceremony.
Groundbreaking.
Groundbreaking. Thank you. Groundbreaking ceremony Thursday. My uncle Sam Moore of Sam and Dave was at the original groundbreaking ceremony in the 90s. He is the only surviving inductee member that was there. So he was invited to come back last Thursday. Yeah, 87 years of age. And my sister and I were very fortunate to go up and be a part of all of it. It was an amazing day. And we hung out with a lot of inductees, Gina Shock and Charlotte Caffey from the Go-Go's, the great Michelle Phillips from the Mamas and the Papas, also a Falcon Crest fame, David Spiro, manager of Michael Stanley Band, and Joe Walsh, and Kim Cease from Bo Diddley Band was there. She was an amazing person. And also the amazing Martha Reeves from Martha and the Vandellas, who I had a lot of fun talking to. She's a wild character. And hopefully maybe we'll add some of the pictures or whatever to our video show here. But the Rock Hall of Fame is adding a new wing. I want to ask you guys, have you been there at all? And then I'm going to tell you what this wing's all about here real quick. So this is a statement from them. Rock and roll as always pushed the envelope. Now we are going even further, a groundbreaking expansion of our museum designed by world-renowned architect from PAU, will bring our vision for a new state-of-the-art addition to life. The dramatic project will channel the energy of rock and roll, pay homage to the existing IMPA building, and amp up the museum's beautiful lakefront location. It will provide indoor event and performance space to experience the power of live rock and roll, a breathtaking entry experience worthy of rock and roll, much needed spaces to expand the number of students served, additional areas for community to gather and connect, a student center for visitors to experience our archives. So I didn't hear anything in that sounded groundbreaking or innovative, like some of the things they've done at the Pro Football Hall of Fame, but we'll wait and see. It just sounds like they're making more space to me. Have you guys been to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and what's your thoughts on it, Skinner?
I have never stepped foot in a place, to be truthful. It's just one of those things I've not gotten to. And you would think that, I don't know why, as much as important as music is in my life,
right?
I don't go an hour without listening to some kind of song from somewhere. But yeah, I've never been there, and I need to make that change. My cousin was in town this past summer, and that was one of his bucket items was to go to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and He said it was fantastic. He could have gone there for another day because of all the history and everything that's there. So, congratulations to Uncle Sam Moore, for being a part of that groundbreaking and all those. Can't imagine how you felt being part of that experience. Had to be a thrill for you with your music career. So, but yeah, I need to change that.
Big thrill. Hanging around those people, it was like what you hear people say when they meet some of these legends. It was just hanging around like anybody, in the conversations. I'm just in the conversations they were having, just like we talk about people we know or whatever. They were having the same kind of conversations, except they were talking about famous people.
Right.
Oh, did you hear what happened with Sting and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, and he called me, and I'm just listening to all this like, they're just people. They're just normal people, man. Extraordinarily talented, but it was really, really cool. They were, I'll take a picture, give me a hug. Scott gave me a kiss. Michelle Phillips sat on my sister's lap and started reading her palm. They were just really, really awesome. Made us feel very, very welcome. So, your thoughts on the Hall of Fame, Fish?
Well, first of all, I did a groundbreaking. It was for a famous podcast from Akron Barberton Museum. I had a little garden shovel this past Sunday. Did a groundbreaking for that. Yeah, it's going to be exciting.
I can't wait to see that.
Yeah, it's like in a 3x5 area in Kenmore here. We'll share more details as they come available. I have been in the Hall of Fame a couple of times. It's been a while. I did take Peyton up when she was younger. That was a great day we shared together. The exhibits there's a lot of very interesting exhibits. The handwritten lyrics and different things. I saw one exhibit up there was like, they had the glasses that John Lennon was wearing when he was killed, and you saw the blood on it. It was just like very powerful.
Wow.
Oh man. So you see those traveling exhibits every so often up there, which is very interesting. For me personally, I'd like to see them showcase those that are in the hall more. There's like a video that you see honors them and everything, and has a cool wall with like their looks like their autographs lit up and stuff like that. That's kind of neat, but I'd love to see something similar to like the Football Hall of Fame, where you could look up somebody and look up their credentials and see something about them or whatever. I don't know that they really have that up there, or even a bust or something like that. I think would be nice to enhance it more, but it is interesting. It is a piece of history. I'm glad to hear that they're doing some type of expansion. Hopefully it's worthwhile. And it is nice for the city of Cleveland, certainly, to bring in tourists and everything else up there. So, we should plan a day and go up there and check it out with Skinner. But it's definitely something to see.
Yeah, it depends on what day you go. They have a indoor stage facility. They let a lot of local, I should say, lesser known bands play. Actually, my band was even offered to play up there by the old manager, who's no longer there right now. But we could catch it when music is being played live up there. It's a really lively atmosphere.
Yeah.
They have some amazing food places inside there. The merch shop is huge. And probably not cool. So I got some really cool stuff. There's one of my shirts, Miles Davis, that I wanted to get. And I won't pull everything out, but just some really cool stuff they had up there.
Choose like a Wham shirt. There you go.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
all right.
I thought the keychains up there were pretty amazing. I love the keychains. They had different ones like records, and then I thought this one was very, very cool.
What is it? So you just, some people are just listening. Yeah,
that's right. I'm sorry. It has the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame logo in the middle in a white circle, and the actual silhouette of it is somebody with headphones on.
Oh, very cool.
Okay.
Yeah, and very, very cool shape, design, and very, very cool. And of course, I saved this legendary bill that my aunt got with all the merch we set up on the counter. They charged her 1 cent. so I'm like, wow, really? Okay, but we look forward to seeing this expansion and see what it's all about.
It's something next summer we should do.
For sure.
Yeah, especially now I know the management up there. Might maybe drop a name and get us a little bit of preferential treatment. Who knows? We'll give it a shot and see.
Right.
Okay. Also in music, we have a couple of new recordings been released. Winger has put out a new recording,
and it's not bad.
Have you heard it?
Yeah, it's not bad.
I've heard a few songs off of it. Yeah.
Okay.
I was actually very surprised.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would have said in high school I'm excited for new Winger, even in high school. But
tell me about it.
Yeah, but now it's like, hey, it's pretty good. He sings well. There's a good band around him. It's what the heck?
I heard the first song was "She's Only 73." So
yeah.
I'm sure that's a pretty good song. So okay. All right, guys, that's all I got in sports and music. Let's get some pop culture fish.
Hey, real quick before you jump out of music, are you guys at all Shinedown fans like I am? The band Shinedown?
Not that familiar personally. Gang.
Hold on a minute. I'm thinking that's who I'm thinking of right now. Let me be sure that's who it is.
They have sung.
I came across the album last week, a song last week at the gym, and I was like, "Who the heck is this?" And it was Shinedown, and I just downloaded the album, and it is some of the most incredible music I have ever heard.
Oh, that's Amaryllis. That's one of their best albums they've ever made.
I just discovered it a couple of weeks ago at the gym, and I cannot stop listening to it. Absolutely amazing.
Your redheaded nieces, the Little Skinners, will be able to sing that album word for word. Every song on that album on Amaryllis.
Okay.
Anyway, awesome. The reason I ask is they've got a new album that just came out in 2023.
Wow. Okay.
And I absolutely fell in love with a couple songs, and I'm trying to get to the album. I apologize. Albums. Anyway, one song is called Symptoms of Being a Human. Look up that song. Look up the lyrics. It is one of the most incredible songs I've heard in quite a long time from a message standpoint. Okay. The lyrics blew me away the first time I heard them. And again, I'm a Shinedown fan, so I might be some may say I'm a little biased. But I didn't hear the song until a week before I went to their concert here a few weeks ago at Blossom. I didn't even know they had a new album out. So I listened to a few songs and I went, holy hell. The album is called Planet Zero. And I've listened to it from start to finish. And it's a fantastic album for being, I think it's their 7th studio album. But A Symptom of Being Human, and then there's also another one called Daylight that are 2 of the best songs on that album. Check them out. I highly recommend them. I know you're going to get into a recommendation thing, but I thought I'd tie it in with the music.
I'll definitely check them out when I get to the gym.
But that song, Symptom of Being a Human, every time I listen to it, it gives me goosebumps, and it's the message that this song gives.
All right, anyway, I'll get back to you on that. That's all right.
Yeah, please do. Let me know what you think.
All right.
Yeah, we'll do.
I
need to listen to something besides the 70s and 80s. I can't seem to get out of still. So, yeah, that'll be a good opportunity.
I'm still in there a lot. I'm still in the 70s and 80s.
I'm constantly in there. Constantly.
My dad yelled at me on the golf trip. He goes, "You still listen to that rock and roll shit?" Because I had WONE on the radio station all the way up to Toledo. I'm like, "Yeah, Dad, that's what I grew up with. Remember?" He goes, "Yeah, I'll never forget."
Gotta do that 80s.
Channel 13, KCOP, Los Angeles. Weeknights at 6, blast off for out-of-this-world adventure with Gil Gerard when he patrols the galaxy as Buck Rogers in the 25th century, only on Channel 13.
Time for breakfast.
Okay. It's here. Marshmallows and chocolatey graham crackers together in new S'mores Crunch cereal. A fantastic part of this complete breakfast.
Breakfast? You want breakfast?
Yeah.
You finally made it.
Hilarious, guys. It's really here. S'mores Crunch.
Where'd that come from?
New S'mores Crunch. Like a dream come true.
Pop culture fish.
Hey, real quick before you jump out of music, are you guys at all Shinedown fans like I am? The band Shinedown?
Not that familiar personally.
The gang.
Hold on a minute. I'm thinking that's who I'm thinking of right now. Let me be sure that's who it is.
They have sung.
I came across the album last week, a song last week at the gym, and I was like, "Who the heck is this?" And it was Shinedown, and I just downloaded the album, and it is some of the most incredible music I have ever heard.
Oh, that's Amaryllis. That's one of their best albums they've ever made.
I just discovered it a couple of weeks ago at the gym, and I cannot stop listening to it. Absolutely amazing.
Your redheaded nieces, the Little Skinners, will be able to sing that album word for word. Every song on that album on Amaryllis.
Great. Okay.
Anyway,
Awesome.
The reason I ask is they've got a new album that just came out in 2023.
Wow. Okay.
And I absolutely fell in love with a couple songs, and I'm trying to get to the album. I apologize. Albums. Anyway, one song is called Symptoms of Being a Human. Look up that song. Look up the lyrics. It is one of the most incredible songs I've heard in quite a long time from a message standpoint.
Okay.
The lyrics blew me away the first time I heard them. And again, I'm a Shinedown fan, so I might be some may say I'm a little biased. But I didn't hear the song until a week before I went to their concert here a few weeks ago at Blossom. I didn't even know they had a new album out. So I listened to a few songs and I went, holy hell. The album is called Planet Zero. And I've listened to it from start to finish. And it's a fantastic album for being, I think it's their 7th studio album. But A Symptom of Being Human. And then there's also another one called Daylight. That are two of the best songs on that album. Check them out. I highly recommend them. I know you're going to get into a recommendation thing, but I thought I'd tie it in with the music.
I'll definitely check them out when I get to the gym.
But that song, Symptom of Being a Human, every time I listen to it, it gives me goosebumps. And it's the message that this song gives.
All right,
anyway,
I'll get back to you on that. That's all right.
Yeah,
okay.
Please do. Let me know what you think.
All right.
Yeah, we'll do. I need to listen to
But-
something besides the 70s and 80s. I can't seem to get out of still. So, yeah, that'll be a good opportunity.
I'm still in there a lot. I'm still in the 70s and 80s.
I'm constantly in there. Constantly.
My dad yelled at me on the golf trip. He goes, "You still listen to that rock and roll shit?" Because I had WONE on the radio station all the way up to Toledo.
Right.
I'm like, "Yeah, Dad, that's what I grew up with. Remember?" He goes, "Yeah, I'll never forget."
Got to do that 80s.
Yep. All right. Well, we've been out a long. There's probably there's tons of stuff that you've listened or watched or whatever. Is anything recent you want to recommend in the GenX recommendations here? There's movies, shows, anything.
Yeah.
Keith,
Absolutely,
anything in particular? Go ahead.
Yeah, I've had a great list going here. First of all, on Netflix, if you want a good old fashioned murder, lust, deceit, betrayal movie, this movie was done in 2002. I'm sorry, 2020. It's called Fatale on Netflix.
I did see that.
Oh man, fantastic movie. It stars Hilary Swank and Michael Ealy. Michael Ealy is actually the nephew of a dear friend of the family's. He comes to Akron and Canton home for like family reunions and funerals. And the movie is just outstanding. Man, a lot of
A
stuff
lot of twists and turns.
Coming.
Yeah, twists and turns in that. Yeah. Yeah.
It'll make your head spin around with the twists and turns. Like, what?
Yeah. Yeah.
And,
Yep.
Fantastic ending. I won't say much about it. Michael Ealy is him and his partner, Mike Coulter, who also played in he was Luke Cage. He played Luke Cage.
Yes.
You ever seen Luke Cage series?
Oh, okay.
Watch that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So they start their own sports agency, and they're hugely successful. They make a lot of money. His partner wants to sell out to this other conglomerate, but he doesn't. He wants to stay independent because of all the hard work they've done. And he's married to this beautiful woman. They live in this amazing house, but she's always leaving for work, not knowing when she's going to be back. He suspects she's cheating on him. So he goes to a bachelor party in Vegas and meets Hilary Swank. And they end up having a one-night stand. And he goes back home, and I guess he's feeling guilty about cheating on his wife after he suspected her cheating. And he just tries to draw closer to her. And one night they're in the bed making love, and he hears a noise, and he looks, and there's a burglar in the house that attacks him. And he barely makes the burglar run off. He doesn't die. He almost gets killed. And I won't tell you any more after that, because the next thing that happens after that will blow your mind. So check it out, Skinner. I know you and Marcy will love this kind of movie. It's called Fatale on Netflix.
Yeah, I've got it written. Well, I'm going to write it down right now.
Yeah, you're gonna be just like, what? Trust me, man. It's good.
Sounds good.
Yeah, it's really good. Also, I tell you what, man, the Star Wars franchise has done very little that I don't like lately, especially The Mandalorian. Just love it. Fantastic. Obi-Wan, fantastic. But I don't think anything is as good as they have hit a home run with Ahsoka. If you have not watched the Ahsoka series, oh my gosh, just absolutely beautiful, brilliant.
Yeah.
Dawson, what's her first name again? Rosario Dawson.
Rosario.
Yeah.
She is just amazing in this role, man. Talk about somebody born to play a role.
Yeah.
The characters, I just can't say enough about how awesome this series is. I almost cried when I got to the last episode.
Yeah.
So have you watched it all, Fish?
I did. I watched the whole series. Yeah, and they're really setting up it's supposed to set up future movies.
Yeah.
Is what they say. So
yeah. What did you think?
Well done.
Yeah.
Well done. I wasn't a Rebels. I didn't watch Rebels or Clone Wars, and I get not against it. Never got
That's why it was really good for me, because I watched the Rebel cartoon, and
but you don't need to necessarily. You know what I'm saying?
You don't need
if you just know the character. Yeah. So it was. I agree. It was well done. The visuals, the acting, the fighting, everything was.
Yeah, the visuals are amazing, especially the star whales. I mean, who would think of that?
Yeah.
Whales that travel, at warp speed through space. That was just absolutely mind blowing. And usually it's when they create characters and then they make cartoons of the characters. This was different. They had cartoon characters that they brought to life this time.
Right.
And I thought that was absolutely fascinating. They nailed it. Only difference is Ahsoka in the Rebels cartoon is more of a teenager. Of course, Rosario Dawson isn't, but still, this is in the latter years. The Anakin appearance, all that was just absolutely phenomenal. So check that out. And I had one more, but I'll let Skinner go.
How nice of you.
Yeah, I'm a nice guy. Mighty Whitey.
So I'm not sure the last time we talked if I had mentioned the show Suits.
Yes,
it was a USA original.
One of my favorite series ever.
They went over to Netflix, and then the last season was on Peacock. I finished it since our last time we were on the air. Awesome, and I tell you what, that is up there as to one of my favorite series of all time.
It is one of the best ever.
And the way they closed out this series was pretty phenomenal too, especially with Louis Litt. He probably made that show.
He was a unique character, wasn't he?
If you ask me, he made the show. And he had me laughing at the very last episode, like he had never had me laugh through the entire thing. So if you haven't seen Suits, you've got to watch it. It's a great series. It starts on Netflix. The last season is on Peacock.
Yeah.
I finally got around to watching Air, the Michael Jordan movie.
Yeah, great movie.
That is a fantastic movie, all-star cast.
Haven't seen that yet.
Come on.
Come on,
Amazon
Keith.
Prime.
It's on Amazon Prime. You have to watch it.
I will watch it.
I made the mistake of, and I shouldn't say this on the air because there's probably people at my work that listen to the show, but I was riveted for the entire time while watching the show during work hours. The movie was that good.
You didn't say that, folks.
I didn't say that, but no, the movie's fantastic. Matt Damon was incredible. What's his name?
Ben Affleck.
Ben Affleck. Say what you will about the guy. He is a genius when it comes to directing and producing movies because he was the producer of this one.
I'm a huge Affleck fan.
They absolutely nailed it, from the scenery to the cinematography to everything in that movie. They all going back to the time frame with all the nostalgia. I can't talk it up enough. If you're a Michael Jordan fan or even a basketball or sports fan, you understand the story, but you get a little bit more of the insight of the story by watching this movie.
I got one more for you, Fish. Are you done? I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I got two more, and then I'll let you go back to it. Guy Ritchie's The Covenant. It's also on Prime. It's a military movie. It's about a guy and his interpreter. They get hurt out in the field. The interpreter goes through hell to get this American to safety overseas, and then goes into hiding because the Al-Qaeda is trying to find this guy to kill him. And I won't do too much, but the movie's pretty phenomenal. Jake Gyllenhaal's in this one. And then the last one, another military, but this actually has to do with the what happened going into Afghanistan. It's called Shock and Awe. Another all-star cast. Jamie Lee Curtis was in it. I know it's only one name because the rest of them are eluding me, but it was an all-star cast of Shock and Awe. I think that one was also on Prime. Just look up how the Afghan conflict became right after 9/11. Had a lot of flashbacks to 9/11 and the just things leading up the weeks past it, to the baseball going back to George Bush throwing the first pitch in New York Stadium, and a lot of stuff that makes you go back and go, wow, I can't believe it's been 20 some years ago. But it's a fantastic movie as well.
Cool. I came across the series on Netflix just for the heck of it, and I could not stop watching it. I'd never seen anything like it. I thought it was something just newly created. And then next thing I know, weeks later, I seen they got the cartoon version, the actual cartoon version of the actual show. I'm like, wow, it takes a little more liberties, a little more long-winded than the show, the real live show. And I'm like, I saw a girl at the gym who had a tattoo from the show on her body. And I said, I just started watching that. I think this is pretty interesting. She's like, there's a whole series that's been going on for years. I had no idea. But man, it is funny. It is action. And it's a little sci-fi. It's called The One Piece.
I started watching that too, Keith.
Yeah, I've never seen
like a graphic novel or something, right? I think it's a graphic novel it's based on. But yeah, the visual, it's very interesting.
Yeah.
Never heard of it.
The main character is about as unique as it's come. His name is Luffy D. Monkey. And it's this kid who wants to be king of the pirates, but not the kind of pirates you're used to seeing. And when I see him throw a punch and his arm stretched 20 feet like Mr. Fantastic, I went, whoa, what am I watching here? And of course, it just got crazy after that. But check out The One Piece if you want to see something different.
The One Piece.
Yeah, man. It's a combination of comedy, sci-fi, and whoa. Man, if you are a John Wick fan, watch The Continental on Peacock.
Okay, yeah.
Oh,
I've heard about that. I haven't seen it, but I heard about it.
You talk about some hardcore violence and a great show. Won't be able to stop watching it, man. There's only like 2 or 3 episodes out so far. I think the third one or fourth was out this week. Absolutely awesome, man. There's a guy in there that make John Wick look like a freaking Girl Scout. He is one rough man. I mean, just blowing guys' brains out. And then I also stumbled across an amazing show on Max called Gangs of London. One of the best series ever made, man. I love it. Cole Meany, who played what's his name? He was the chief engineer on he was on Star Trek Next Gen for a while, then he moved to Deep Space Nine. Chief O'Brien. He's the head gangster in London, and he gets murdered in the first episode. Now his son takes over, and he also had a business partner who was his best friend. And they order all the heads of the gangs to meet in the back room the day of the funeral. And the son, who is just angry, all he cares about finding out who kills his dad. He tells all the heads of all the gangs, nobody better not sell another drug until my dad's killer is found. And, you know, these people are from different countries and whatever. And they're all like, you know, this kid's hothead. He doesn't understand business, and he's going to run this business in the ground. So they all hate him. He doesn't trust them. I love the show because it's like black and white mix. There's black people that are part of the mob family with them. They love each other's family, and it is some of the toughest violence you ever want to see, man. It is a rough movie, but it is one of the best things since The Godfather that I've ever seen when it comes to gangs. So check it out, Gangs of London. That's
all right.
2 months worth. Okay.
Very good. All right. Well, just a couple quick here. I watched a movie over the weekend. This is a new on Amazon Prime. You can find it. Totally Killer. So this is it's like a serial killer. It's like a slasher movie / comedy and sci-fi kind of all mixed into one. So basically it's we're Gen X, so it definitely has a lot of retro stuff here. Stars Kiernan Shipka. You might remember her as the daughter in Mad Men. Very good. The blonde,
Never watched that.
Yeah, very good series, by the way. Jolie Bowen was in this. She was the mom from Modern Family. You know who she is, and a few other folks as well.
Happy Gilmore.
Yeah, so the concept and real quick is a time machine is built to travel back in time to the year 1987 to try to stop a serial killer from killing people back then who is now carried on killing
that a little bit.
Today.
Okay.
And they're just out in the open with it. It makes zero sense. How can you make a time machine? Doesn't matter. It works. They go back in time. So you got the whole 80s vibe and feel and nostalgia and stuff like that mixed with all the dark comedy. And there's some legit slasher movie feel to it and scenes and all that stuff. So a lot of fun. It's like an hour 45. I watched it over the weekend and I did enjoy that. So if you want something, fun for Halloween, go check out Totally Killer on Amazon Prime. I picked up Loki season 2. I saw the first episode of that. Very interesting and fun. So if you're a Loki fan, season 1, go check that out. That is on Disney Plus. That started streaming last week. Keith already talked about Ahsoka. Yeah. I started watching the Walking Dead as a new series on AMC. Walking Dead, Daryl Dixon. So Daryl Dixon from the Walking Dead series has now traveled over to Paris. He got the boat, apparently, got washed up in Paris, so he's over there. It's a whole new adventure, a whole different feel. So if you like Daryl Dixon from The Walking Dead, go check out Walking Dead, Daryl Dixon on AMC and AMC Plus. And one I did watch that I do not recommend, but I'm going to mention it to you. I saw Morgan Freeman in the movie. I'm like, okay, I'll check this out.
Gotta be good, right?
Awful, terrible, ridiculous. Morgan Freeman, hey, bless his heart. Everybody needs a paycheck every so often. That is on Amazon Prime as well. Very strange, bizarre movie. I thought it was going to be better than it was, and not one I would necessarily recommend. Ritual Killer is one of the most bizarre endings of a movie that I've seen in some time. So just from a curiosity factor, if you're into that sort of, you could check it out. But I don't necessarily recommend Ritual killer. Plus, it also has the guy that's in Yellowstone, like the bodyguard guy, the guy with the beard. He's in this with Morgan Freeman. I thought, okay, it's got to be something decent.
Right.
No, I was sorely disappointed in that. So, okay, and this is a little bit of pop culture news real quick here, guys. So, number one movie in the box office this past weekend, the Exorcist sequel debuted, Exorcist Believer. This is a direct sequel to the original movie. So they brought back the mom, who is Ellen Bernstein. So I guess the concept is, a couple of people have their kids possessed. They don't know where to turn. And the only person they know where to turn is somebody that they had it happen to her with her daughter in the movie. So they seek out Ellen Bernstein. I don't know. It's interests me. I don't know when I'm going to necessarily run to the theater to see it. I am a fan of the original Exorcist movie, but number one, it made globally $45.1 million over the past weekend. Something you guys are interested in? I know that. I don't know if Keith, if you're into that sort of thing or not, but I know we saw The Exorcist together. So
absolutely not. You know better than that. You guys better leave that movie alone, man.
Skinner, do you plan to see The Exorcist Believer, the sequel?
Yes, I'd like to see it. I love the first movie. I can't imagine I won't like the second one.
All right, well, maybe we'll plan a theater viewing, perhaps. So
okay.
Yeah.
I was just talking about Marcy. We were going to the store today. We hadn't been to the movie theater since Christmas time last year, so we're overdue.
Gee whiz. Yeah, for sure. Okay. Let's see here. You already talked about Travis Kelce ridiculousness with Taylor Swift. There's a new Barbie. Barbie made a lot of news over the summer. I know we definitely did work in an episode in. We talked about the success of the Barbie movie for sure. It was one of the most successful movies in some time, one of the most successful ever, frankly. So it's, the Barbie doll is gaining some popularity again. There's a new Barbie doll that's just being released, modeled after a famous singer, and it's sold out already. A Stevie Nicks Barbie doll based on how Stevie looked on the cover of Rumors. Right. So obviously Stevie Nicks had to, give permission and everything else to do this. And so it was just released and sold out already. She's one of the few music giants to have their own Barbie. This is some trivia for me. Other artists that had a Barbie or Ken, type doll modeled after them: Tina Turner, David Bowie, Elton John, and Elvis Presley. And now Stevie Nicks has a Barbie doll. We got a ways to go, guys, before we have a Barbie. It came from GenX Barbie line. So we're striving for that. Maybe the museum, the podcast museum, will be maybe.
Boy, they're gonna be some ugly dolls.
AI is becoming more and more prominent.
Oh my gosh!
There's more and more AI stuff in the news. I listened to 60 Minutes this past weekend. By the way, go check that out. There's some very fascinating stories on 60 Minutes this week, including the godfather of AI talking about that. His fear of that it could. It's so crazy when you hear stuff. It's like it could be self-aware someday, and now's the time to really get in and regulate this thing, and it's all kinds of crazy.
How about leave it alone? This year's football schedule was made by AI.
Wow, interesting.
Yeah,
more and more, but it is also now that it's becoming more prominent with the technology, etc. You got to be more leery of scams that are out there. So Tom Hanks has come out this past week and said, hey, there's an AI me out there talking about a dental plan. It is not me. I am not tied to this whatsoever. But if you look at this thing here, it's Tom Hanks talking about this dental plan, and it's not him. So you can't trust at first glance if it's a famous figure or what. You got to pay attention. with what's out there, more and more so with the ever growing AI technology. So we're working on AI technology, Keith, to train for Skinner's outros. We haven't quite got there yet, but
we'll just have AI do it. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
We're teaching it. Yeah. So we'll see. Yeah. Let's see what else. There's so much happened over the last couple of months here. The Hollywood writers' strike did finally come to an end. So a deal was made, and the writers, literally got everything that they wanted. So they got a pay raise. They're going to have some protections against AI because they did not want to have AI technology used to train. So you can't take scripts. If I'm a writer, you can't take scripts that I wrote and use it to train AI technology and say, write a script for the It Came From GenX podcast.
Good. I'm so glad to hear it.
And they also have some extra monetization for streaming services and everything else, which is good. Now, on the flip side of that, some people are saying, well, if now the writers are going to make more money, you may have less content in general, and sooner or later, you might see some increases in streaming that the general consumer has to pay. But the hope is that maybe the content that's out there, while it might be less, might be higher quality versus just so many new things out there that were, hit and miss, and maybe almost too much content out there. So just a quick opinion from you guys here. How do you think, as the general consumer, that the writers' new deal may impact us? Are you worried about paying more in streaming, for instance? Are you worried about paying more maybe to go to the movies? Or is the trade-off good if that's what happens, if we're getting higher quality production and writing and everything else? Keith, what do you think?
I got mixed feelings about this because we want higher quality. I just don't see how it's going to be higher quality. So to agree to a price hike and some of these things, I mean, isn't it high enough already? We're being nickel and dime to death as it is. I had to tell Spectrum to shove it today. Why am I paying a $200 bill a month and to freaking stream everything anyway? I don't need this. You can keep it. You want to talk to a bill representative to lower your bill? No, take your bill and shove it. Why am I doing it anyway? There's nothing on regular TV that I need. All my football is being streamed. All the shows I watch are on one of the streaming networks. So, I don't know, man. I'm glad to see the writers got everything they wanted. I'm glad to see them get protected. A lot of great projects that we've been waiting for were put on hold because of the strike. Some of them are not going to get done at all. They can't just pick up and continue. They got scrapped, which really stinks. But I don't understand why it will take a price hike for this better quality. I don't understand where that comes into play. Sounds like
hasn't been announced yet. So just to be fair, but they say that could be coming, though.
It sounds like an excuse to me to just hike up the prices.
Could be. Skinner, what do you think?
It ought to be quality work, period.
Yeah, well, that's fair.
Yeah, you talk about quality work in Hollywood, yet they keep remaking movies from 25, 30, 40 years ago.
Yeah.
And you're want me to spend more money because writers are getting paid more? I mean, and I don't say that.
And we're getting Fast and the Furious 40.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, I agree. The writers should get their share. The movies don't happen without the writers. The TV shows don't happen without the writers. I get all that. But I don't want to see a movie I watched 30 years ago with younger kids that weren't even born at the time the original movie came out. It doesn't interest me. And how many times have we seen that over the last 15 years? A lot.
They were making It's a Wonderful Life. That's the truth, which is ridiculous.
Sad. I'll never watch it.
It's a classic. Let it go.
Yes.
It's perfect as it is.
I guess to answer your question, I have mixed feelings like Keith does, but I'm not going to pay more to see the same things I keep watching. But if you're going to make me pay more, the quality better be there. So that's all I can say.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see what happens. I mean, they're definitely going to probably price out some people who's going to get tired of, or maybe at least they're going to whittle down what the streaming service. It's in a weird way. They're almost recreating the cable model with the streaming services, if you think about it. So they're trying to put the quality shows on the plus crap, make us pay for that. And what you get on regular network television, there's still good stuff there.
Yeah.
But are they going to keep investing more in the network stuff and, that you can get for free?
Keywords that you said, quality shows. We don't have enough of those. And if you want to have better quality and keep the price down, what you need to start doing is start letting some of these unknown writers start approving some of these scripts, some of these unique minds out there, instead of keeping these same people like Skinner's talking about who are regurgitating stuff. Why don't you give some of these new writers a break, and come up with some new ideas, some new things that we haven't seen before? So somebody who's got a different frame of mind and things like that, we're getting the same thing over and over and over again because of the lack of creativity. But you want to charge more for it and call it quality, whatever.
All right. Well, I guess we'll see what happens. Well, one thing they are regurgitating that I think is good. It's very strange to see this in the headlines as well. There's going to be this November a new Atari 2600. Have you heard about this?
No,
I heard about it. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a model of the original Atari 2600. It's a smaller model. It looks just like the original. It has a HDMI connection though to plug into your television. Same type of joysticks, same original paddles, and it will play all your old 2600 cartridges and also Atari 7800 cartridges, which I never had that, but I still have all my original Atari 2600 cartridges. They're still out there. And there's actually a new Atari 2600 game that's being released as well, like Run Jumpman or something like that. So it does come with a cartridge, I think, with like 10 or so preloaded classic games and so forth. So I have my original Atari, but to get to run through to a normal television is quite complicated because of the connections and that type of thing. And it's just not a clean, easy adapter to do that. So I'm interested in this. I think it's a good Christmas idea for me personally, just for the whole retro and be able to plug it in as an HDMI connection to your television. I'm excited for this, and it's something I want. Keith, do you have any interest in a new Atari 2600, or nope, let it go, and those days have passed you by?
As much as I love that game, as much as it's such a huge part of my childhood, I have no interest in playing those games again whatsoever. It does not appeal to me at all. I don't know, man. I'm just not nostalgic for it. I loved it. I appreciate it. I'd rather play something, modern than, asteroids or I just I can't think of one game that I'm like, God, I'd love to play that again for old time's sake. Not a one, not a single one. So, yeah, this doesn't appeal to me at all. I mean, I love the game. God bless them. I'm sure a lot of people will appreciate it, and that's great. It just doesn't appeal to me whatsoever.
Skinner, what do you think?
I wish I could say yes, but I just don't have the time. We bought the PS4 or whatever the hell we have here.
Yeah.
And I haven't played that thing in a year and a half since we bought it. So I love the retro games as much as you do. And, having a clean way to put it onto your TV is fascinating to me. Because I'll come over and play your game system. It gives me a reason to make some time to do that. But I think it's a cool, fantastic Gen X thing to do, is to bring this thing out and allow us to play our childhood games on these big screens. We had the little tiny screens about this big, little 13-inch black and white TVs that we could plug our stuff into. Now we've got these giant.
That's an interesting point.
Yeah, you got these giant TVs that we can watch, and with all the graphics and all that. Not that these games have graphics, but to see the little asteroids game from here to the big screen TV, I think that would be pretty cool.
And here,
absolutely, yeah. And it's nice about those games too, as we know, you can play a game in 15 minutes and be done because you can't get that far. You know what I mean? Right. Unless you're just going nuts, and racking up a crazy high score. There's no completion. None of those games on the Atari Twisted, very, very few of them anyway, that you actually complete. It was like it's just a couple. There's a few, Anyway, all right, okay, all right, guys. This week in pop culture history, there's a couple things here that we're shooting this on Monday, October the 9th. Today, back in 1986, was the launch of the fourth television network, Fox. It seems like it maybe was longer ago. I don't know, or maybe not. I don't know. But, that was quite the thing for the Fox company to debut. And obviously, we know some of the original shows back then, The Simpsons, or not even The Simpsons, The Tracy Ullman Show, Married with Children. There was a few risque type shows that came out back then. And obviously, The Simpsons went on to have their own show and a lot of they had a lot of animated shows that were quite successful, as we know, throughout the years. So, just give me one or two of your favorite Fox original series that ever came out. Does any come to mind, Keith?
Was it In Living Color on there?
Yes.
Yeah, yes, that would have to be my favorite. It took the Saturday Night Live format to a whole nother level.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I could not laugh hard enough when that first came out. Some of the geniuses that sprung from that show.
Great show.
The great Jim Carrey, the Wayans brothers, who went on to dominate comedy and movies. Particularly, what's the bald-headed one?
Damon
Wayans, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Men on Films. I mean, that was outrageous.
Oh yeah, Two Snaps Up. Oh man,
I don't know if you probably couldn't even do that today.
So many characters.
So many. Homie the Clown, Fire Marshal Bill. That's the one that sticks out to me. I'll never forget that, and waiting every week for that to come on. Man, it was one of just the greatest. And of course, I remember I was a huge Tracy Ullman fan. I got her humor. I thought she was very funny. I was like, what is this Simpsons stuff? It was outrageous, it was just a little clip on her show. Went on to become the longest running series, in history. And so did Married with Children. It was Married Children broke records as the longest running comedy series as well. So a lot of good stuff came out of it.
Very good. Skinner, any favorite Fox shows?
I got two of them. The X-Files is one of them.
Oh, yeah.
Big X-Files fan.
Yep. Oh, my gosh, yes. Couldn't wait.
And you took my spiel with In Living Color, but Married with Children, I watched that show when it first came out. I couldn't wait for the next week. It would get killed today with all the snowflakes that are out there.
Yeah.
But this show was fun. It was a comedy show. You didn't take it seriously. It was just fun. I don't know how else to put it, but
Jennifer Lopez came from that show. She was a fly girl.
Yeah,
and one of the dancers.
Right. But In Living Color, that was a fresh, new thing from Saturday Night Live. Yep. I was never a huge Saturday Night Live fan. I'm not as big a fan as Fish is, but I enjoyed the content. There was a lot of great comedians. A lot of people came from Saturday Night Live. But in retrospect, there's been a lot of people that came from In Living Color. The Wayans brothers, Jim Carrey, Jamie Foxx, like
Tommy
you said,
Tommy Davidson.
Tommy Davidson. I mean, there's so many people came out of there.
Greer, I forget his first name.
Yeah, they all had come out to have great careers after that show. So,
and one of the earliest shows on Fox 2 that I love. Remember the Gary Shandling show?
Oh yeah, yes,
funny show. He was great.
Yeah, they they were putting stuff on the air. It was just like, I couldn't believe at the time, like, this is actually on a network station. It was like, wow, like Married with Children was so risque back then.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Like, whatever. It may not hold up as that great, but and then of course The Simpsons. I also liked Mad TV. Mad TV, they put out there to sort of compete with Saturday Night Live at the time, and there was a lot of good characters and actors that came out of that series for a while there too. So I was Living Color Kid. I watched that religiously. It was like Sunday nights or something. I want to say that was. I tuned in for that for sure. But okay, and then ironically, you mentioned Saturday Night Live. Skinner on the 11th of October in 1975, SNL debuted with the original season. So, we could talk about SNL for a while there too, as favorite, so many people, like you say, come out of that over the years, and characters and movies and everything else. So, so much good stuff. Kind of tied to Uncle Sam a little bit, Keith. One of my favorite SNL-based movies ever was the Blues Brothers that were born on Saturday Night Live, that went on to make the movie back in 1980. One of my favorite comedies of all time, and very prominent soundtrack, including Your Uncle. Remember, they're driving in the car, and it's all 8-track, Best of Sam and Dave, and they show the name, and they pop it in there, and they're playing that going down a road. So great stuff.
Prominent soundtrack. I have never gotten that movie. I just don't get why people like that movie. I don't know why. I just don't get it.
I don't know. Just, it's over the top crazy. Maybe that's just what it is. I don't know. It just, I thought that Aykroyd and Belushi were just played those characters very well. I'm going to
try to watch it again.
Okay. All right. We've covered a lot. We've covered from World War III to In Living Color. Many things in their episode here. And I know Keith, we were gone for a couple months here. I know that he was telling us off camera that every single solitary day that we were away, Skinner was before we would go to bed at night, would practice our outro.
Was rehearsing.
Absolutely. So he says, I can't wait to get back on the air to give you a world-class outro.
Couple announcements, though, real quick.
Oh, yeah. I was forgetting. Dang it. My build was so good, and I always forget this hang-on announcement. Shoot. What do you have coming up?
That's called karma getting you right.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, that got you, huh?
We got coming up.
On the 21st of this month, my band Mixed Nuts, who's probably played more in the last 2 months than we played the last 5 years.
That's great.
It's been awesome. I think the band has really grown into something different, matured. We're just really killing it as of late. But we will be at the Sail Inn on the 21st. That's on Milton Avenue out in Lake Milton. Really nice place, really old-fashioned, big, high stage. Come on out. And the following weekend, I think it's 27th, 28th, I will be playing a part in Starlight Dinner Theater's production of The Addams Family.
Oh, wow.
Both nights in a row. I was in this play before. I played Uncle Fester. This year, they took an episode from the show, and Don Rickles was the guest star in the show. I'm playing Don Rickles' character. So pretty funny stuff. So that'll be at La Pizzeria in Canton, 27th, 28th, The Addams Family.
Very good. And Mixed Nuts, Keith, you guys have a Facebook page, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yes, we do. There's another Mixed Nuts, so you want to get Mixed Nuts the band when you look us up on Facebook. Thank you for it.
Sure. You guys play around Northeast Ohio more and more lately.
Yeah, more and more.
Very good.
Been crazy. We were at Spunkmeyer's a couple weeks ago. This Saturday we were at Tonics. Last Saturday we were at Roma's. So we've been really playing a lot. Oh, and then we were 4 weeks ago we were at Nashville Night. So lots of gigs.
Very good. Well, I'll add, I still do the Convincing Idiots podcast with Dean and Nick. So pop culture fun. Go find us wherever you listen to podcasts on YouTube at Convincing Idiots and on the Bosco Media TV network. Skinner, any announcements you have, sir, before we go into your rehearsed outro?
No, I'm actually just found out right before show started that I'll get to see Mike Jr., even if it's just for a day.
Oh, cool.
He's rolling through town to play a show in Bowling Green.
Oh, good.
Traveling from Baltimore, Maryland to play in a venue in Bowling Green, Ohio. So
awesome.
I'll get to see him for a few hours on Saturday or on Friday, so that'll be nice. Other than that, nope. No other, nothing really going on. Skinner household than the normal crazy circus that we call the Skinner Farson house. So
Skinner will be appearing, ladies and gentlemen, in his newly cleaned out garage.
Yes,
smoking a cigar if you catch him at the right time. So
I have plenty of room for visitors.
There you go.
So,
excellent.
All right, fellas, it's been a long time since we've been on the air. Appreciate you. We are guys from Gen X, friends for 30 plus years. Don't know what life is without you guys with me.
Likewise.
But I'm glad we're back on the air.
I imagine it a lot, but
well, contractually, you can't get away from it just yet. We signed a 30-year contract to do this show. I don't know why.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't know why we did that. Yeah.
Real quick before we do go, I just came to me. We watched a television show called A Million Little Things. It's an ABC show that went on for 5 seasons, and it just closed out here this past year. It's a group of 4 guys that became close friends as young adults and went through life. And this show covers divorce, infidelity, cancer, death, suicide, you name it. It covers real life things. And watching the show and watching these 4 gentlemen, I'm like, you know what? This is a show about me and my 3 brothers. The families all get along together. The guys gone through, everything together. Divorces, children, marriages, deaths. I mean, and I didn't say nothing to Marcy, but I'm like, as we're watching the final show, and I'm like, this is my life. I have the pleasure of having 3 guys that I've known almost my entire life, and we've done everything together. So
yes, we have.
Love you guys. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate the show, and I'm glad we're back on here. So
love you back, brother.
So for Brian Fisher and Keith Porter, I'm Michael Skinner. We are the guys from Gen X. We'll stop with the mushy crap, and we will catch you next time. Have a great time.
Take care, everybody.
Good rehearsal.
That was your best outro ever.
Hey, this is Skinner from ItCameFromGenX. If you like this video, please hit the subscribe button and like, and we'll see you next time.